In the last video, we set up our little plan for our tic-tac-toe game. We decided to have a title screen first, in which the user will select either one players or two players. And then after they press each button, that'll take them to the next screen, which will be basically the game. So right now, if I go to my project, and if I run the main method, it is going to give me my JFrame with my title at the top, and it's 900 by 900 pixels. But I want to dress this up, so I want to put a big title here and my name, and then the two buttons as well. So that's what we're going to do in this video. So let's start by putting a title here. Now, I thought about how we're going to do that. I mean, you could just go online and search for TicTacToe image and or maybe TicTacToe title. You could go and just grab some image that's there already, like something like this. You might want to try and pick one that has a transparent background, so that when you add it to your JFrame, you don't have this kind of ugly white rectangle on the gray background. Or you could have some more fun and make one yourself. So if you Google drawing, there is go to all. You should have access to this. It's just like Google Docs, Google Sheets, but it's called Google Drawings. And just make sure you're logged into your Google account, and you can draw your own image or your own text. So you'll have to forgive me because this is the first time I'm using this program myself. I was going to use Paint or Photoshop, but I don't know that everyone has that. A Mac is going to be different than a PC, so at least using Google Drawing, I think everyone will see the same thing. So the first thing I want to do is set my page to 900 by 900 pixels. So if you go to File, Page Setup, you can customize the width and height. So I'm going to switch this to pixels, and then I'm going to set this exactly to 900 by 900, or set it to your size. If you made a different size, then set it to that and hit apply. So now you have some boundaries here. You know where to start and where to stop. So I'm just going to add some text right about here. I'm going to leave room for my buttons at the bottom. And in here, I'm going to say Tic-Tac-Toe by Mr. Morlag, May 2019. And of course, let's make that bigger. So highlight that text and crank it up to 60. Okay. That's good. I'm going to have it centered as well. So I'm going to click the Align button and center it. Maybe I will make my font my main heading a little bit bigger than the rest. Let's see, 72. Let's go one bigger, 96. Okay, and I can stretch this out to make it fit. Come on. Yes, there we go. And you might want to change that font as well. So if you click here, there's a whole bunch of fonts to use. So I kind of like this lobster font. So I'm going to switch to that. You could change the color of your font as well. Maybe red. All right. Maybe I'll leave that as black. Okay, good for now. It's pretty simple. Oh, this checkerboard background, by the way, this means that this is going to be a transparent image. So it should look good even if I put it on a blue background or a background of an image. This should look pretty good on that. We'll have to see how it goes. So now I need to save this image I've created. I need to save it to my project folder. If you remember last day, we made a new project and it creates a folder for you. So I need to save that image inside this folder. So I'm going to go back to Google Drawing. And if we go to File, we can download as, and you've got some options here. So I'm going to download as a PNG, and that will keep the transparency here. I believe if you select JPEG, you're going to lose the transparency, and it will just be a solid white background. Might be okay. but you know, if you're putting this on top of an image, it won't look very good. So I'm going to select PNG, and then it should. Oh yeah, so in Chrome, it's just going to download, and the file will be at the bottom. If you're using Safari or Firefox or another browser, then it might automatically download to your default downloads folder or to your desktop. So mine is here. So I'm just simply, I think I can drag this over. Oh yeah. So I'm going to drag this right into here. And now if I look inside that folder, I've got this untitled drawing, which I'm going to rename. You could just just click it. I'm going to call this title. All right. So the name of this PNG image is title. So now we're going to go back to our project. So open up your project. And we're going to go into TicTacToe game. Remember, this is where most of our code is going to go. And now we have to load that image into our game. And we do that by going into this first method. This is kind of a weird method. You'll notice there's no return type, not even void. This is called a constructor method. We're going to learn more about this if you have signed up for the second course. We're going to learn more about this. But after we add the mouse listener, we're going to load all the images in our program. And right now we just have one, so we're going to add it. So something, again, you haven't seen before. This is going to look like an if statement, and it kind of is, except it's called a try-catch statement. And this is used if you're loading audio files or images or even external text files with loads of data. Basically, I'm going to try to load it from a specific file location, and if it doesn't work, let's say somebody moved that file or deleted it, then the program's not going to crash. It's going to go to my catch statement, and it will handle it nicely. So we are going to create a variable here called, actually, if I scroll up, yeah, you should already have an image variable called title. So inside here, we're going to say title equals, or is assigned to, image.io.read, new file, and then this is where we have to say the name of our picture. So it's title.png. So right in here, I'm going to say title.png, and case matters. So notice I've got a capital T because that's the name of my file. This is different. This is actually just the name of the variable I chose. I could have used any name. Like I could have just called that Z, and then call that Z if I wanted to. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it as title. Whoops, title. Okay, there we go. And so now if I press compile, okay, we're good, no syntax errors. So it seems like this has loaded successfully into here, but we won't know for sure until we run the program and see how it looks. Okay, so one more thing we're going to do in this video is to draw. We have to draw this title and see if it works. So I'm going to scroll down to right before mouse clicked, and I'm going to make another method called paint. And this is going to have a graphics object called G as a parameter. You can think of G as like our canvas. So this is where we're going to say g.fillRect, g.drawImage, g.drawOval. So all of our commands are going to be applied to this graphics object G. Okay, and inside here, I'm going to say if screen is equal to 1, and if I scroll up, you'll see that my screen is set to 1. So as soon as I run the program, screen is 1, so it's already set up. So in this paint method, oh, and by the way, the paint method gets called as soon as you run the program. This thing gets called automatically at the very beginning. So if screen is equal to 1, I want to draw my start screen. So I'm going to say start screen, and I'm going to pass in G as a parameter. else if screen is equal to 2, so if it's my second screen, then I'm going to draw my board, my 3x3 board, which I haven't started drawing yet, but I'm going to do that after. Okay, so I've set up my paint method. So now I have to create a procedure method called start screen and a procedure method called draw board. So down below here, we're going to make another method, public void start screen, graphics G. So you have to pass along this canvas from here. You have to keep passing it forward. And just going to do that for now. And then I'm going to copy and paste this and make another one called draw board. Okay, we're not going to do anything inside here in this video. We'll save that for next video. But for today, we want to draw the start screen. So in here, the first thing I'm going to do is draw my title image. So g.draw image, and then title is the name of my image variable. Remember way up here, we set it equal to this. Okay, so it's just as easy as saying g.draw image title, and then we have to specify the XY position, like where do you want the top left corner to be? So 0, 0 is where we want the top left to be. And then you just have to put null here. Don't worry about what that means. Okay, so this should be able to run now, and we should see our image. So if I compile, no errors, and then I have to go to my main class, and we'll compile that again, and we'll run it, and let's see. Looks good. TicTacToe by Mr. Morlag. Okay. So I'm going to close this, and we're going to add these two buttons at the bottom. And then if, we're going to need if statements, if the user clicks on one of these, then that will determine how many players there are. So where do we write that code? We're going to go back into our tic-tac-toe game. And actually, we'll do it right in our start screen. So I'm going to draw the one player button right here. So I'm gonna change the color to blue, and I'm gonna draw a rectangle. Now, you may or may not remember how to do this, but you have to specify the 4 numbers here, the top left corner. So I'm gonna draw this at 100 is the X and 600 is the Y. Okay, let's pause for a second. What are we doing here? Well, if we go back to your little blueprint here, your diagram, I want to draw a button. Let's say insert shape. So I want to draw a button that is, around here. Okay. And so what are the coordinates? Well, the top left corner, I've just chosen 100 as the X, so 100 horizontal and then 600 down. So that's going to be the top left corner. And then I want the width to be, maybe we'll try 300 pixels to see what that looks like. And then the height of it, let's try 100 and see what that looks like. So if I go back to my code, the third number is the width, 300, and the fourth number is the height. Okay. And then I'm going to draw another, the 2-player button. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to add some text. So I'm going to change the color to white. And I'm going to say g.draw string. And so it's going to say 1 player inside that rectangle, and it's going to write it in white letters. And you have to specify the coordinates, so where you want to print that text. And if I just change this to white, so it's going to say 1 player, or actually it's going to say, it's going to write out 1. And for this, you have to specify the bottom left corner of the text. It's backwards from a rectangle, so we have to specify the coordinates of that bottom left corner. And I'm going to try 210 and 655. Okay. I've actually done this already, and these two numbers seem to work pretty good. Let's see how that looks. So if I minimize this, so I want to print this string at 210 and 655. Okay, so I am gonna just try and run this and see what it looks like. So let's compile. Yeah, looks good. And then go back to your main method and run that. Run the main class. Okay, perfect. Maybe I could have moved it down a little bit. There is a way to make this text bigger, but I'm going to leave that for now. So I'm going to get you to try something. I want you to try and draw another button on the other side. So same, a blue button with white text that says 2 players. And you're going to put that right underneath here. So you're going to write that code here. So you can copy and paste this stuff, but then you got to change the coordinates around. So as a challenge, I'm going to let you and try to do that, and then we'll go from there. We'll write some code to determine where the user clicks the mouse. That takes them to the second screen, the board.